Alright guys, and we're back. Now let's continue through this mansion and check out what's in this armory. I always remembered this room when I was the first time I played this game. It gave me a little bit of trouble because it was just, I don't know, it was different because like the ghost just didn't pop up at first and I was like, well, what's going on? And so I know at the time I was just like, well, I guess there's no ghost, so I just like left it come back and always. But then I realized, hey, maybe I should just check out what's in these chests and stuff. And so now I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing here. I don't know if any of you guys are Metal Gear Solid fans or Konami fans, but I watched the Konami press conference or press release, the pre-E3 press release earlier. It was, I don't know, it was interesting. I'm a huge Castlevania fan. I love the Lords of Shadow series, so I'm really excited for that. PES doesn't do anything for me. It's like whatever. I'm not a big soccer. I'm a soccer fan, but not soccer video games. So I don't know. Sports games for me never really did anything. It was just like, my friends. We went over to someone's house. We were all playing like NHL or something. All right, sure. But beyond that, really no. The thing that got me was the Metal Gear Solid press release. They showed some Phantom Pain stuff that we've already seen, but the main thing they were talking about was the engine and the emotion they were trying to portray with the character. They said they're really going to trim down the writing and the actual words that is spoken by Snake, and they're going to try to portray a lot more of it through facial features, influx, and alliteration through the speaking. So instead of saying like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" it'll just be like, they'll like say he'll scream the person's name, but it'll be with that influx that you know he's worried, and you'll see it in his face, kind of thing. So that's what they're really going for in this one. They're really trying to show how to portray the emotions. But the thing that blew everybody really out of the water and just kind of like everybody was just like, what the hell, is they are not using David Hayter's voice, the original Snake. David Hayter has been Snake since the original MGS1 on the PS1, and for this one you're playing as the big boss, and so Big Boss is late 50s if I understand. This game takes place in 1984. So they wanted a more mature, older, kind of grizzled veteran kind of voice, and they didn't think that David Hayter could portray it. This is what Kojima says. So they went with a different voice actor, and that was a big deal. Like, who is going to be? Because like David Hayter and his portrayal of Snake is probably one of the most recognizable voices in video game history. Like, you hear that and you're like, that's Snake. Like, people know that voice. They went with Kiefer Sutherland, a famous actor. Strange, yes. Good choice, maybe. There's a lot of different like conspiracy theories and controversy over it that could, you know, that could mean one thing or another. I'm not sure if I believe that though. So like I was saying, we're going for a character, for a voice that can portray an older, grizzled veteran, someone who has seen a lot and, you know, is trying to get out of the war economy, I guess, or however you want to call it. And I don't know how I feel. Kiefer Sutherland could do a good job, I think, but there's been a lot of conspiracy theories and controversy. It's Kojima. We all know he's never straight up about anything. He's always got something up his sleeve. Now, the theory that seems more believable that I've heard is that this game takes place in 1984. If going by the timeline and the canon that we know right now, Snake would have just joined the Green Berets at this point. And this is about 7 years before the Outer Heaven incident or the original Metal Gears on the NES. So this could mean that Snake is in the game, and it would just be really confusing if there were like when Snake was talking to Big Boss, his father, or if they ever do come in contact, that they would be, basically David Hayter would be speaking to himself. Or just the fact that you would be hearing these different characters talk that look similar, just one's older and one's younger, and they would have the same voice, and that would, you know, for gamers, fans of the series, newcomers alike, anybody who's played the game, who's going to be playing the game, and is not familiar with the lore 100% or would get confused. So that's why he wanted to get two distinct voices playing both. That seems the most believable and most likely the true reason why. Because when David Hayter was asked if you would be voicing Big Boss in MGS5, he said no. And that's technically not a lie, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not voicing anybody in MGS5. The other theory, which is a bit more out there, but I actually wouldn't put it past Kojima because he's done some crazy things in the past, is the new Coke versus classic Coke theory. If you guys aren't familiar with the new Coke versus classic Coke, basically, I think it was late 90s, Coke came out with a new idea called New Coke. It was a new recipe for them. So, new flavor, new taste, new everything. And it was not received well by the public. Basically, everybody pretty much hated it. And so Coke brought back their old recipe and branded it as Classic Coke. And sales went through the roof after that. And they've kept the brand Classic Coke ever since. Now, some people, if you ask Coke, it would just be a marketing failure on their part because they didn't do proper testing with vocal groups and so on and so forth. But the conspiracy theorists, me being one of them, actually thinks that New Coke was all a ploy to get people to remember, to think and say, holy shit, look how good the original Coke was compared to this new Coke. Why the hell weren't we buying it? We should totally have stayed loyal to Coke, and then boost up their sales of Classic Coke when they brought it back. So if you compare this to the Kojima thing, what Kojima's planning to do here is do the whole, oh look, we got this new voice actor. Everybody's been sick and tired of David Hayter, right? So look at this new voice actor, Kiefer Sutherland. He's a famous actor, so on and so forth. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, good idea. Game comes out, everybody's going to be like, holy shit, we hate Kiefer Sutherland. He was such a bad voice actor. Why did we ever say to get rid of David Hayter? Man, we love David Hayter. And then when MGS6 comes out, or Ground Zeroes comes out, that David Hayter's voicing, everybody's just gonna buy it like crazy because, oh, David Hayter's back. I'm not sure which one I believe. I honestly wouldn't put either one past Kojima because they're honestly something that Kojima would do. It's not beyond him. But doesn't necessarily mean that I don't know, I'm not vested that much that I think that's what he's done. Again, David Hayter is one of the most iconic voices in video gaming ever, and I don't think it's a smart idea on their part to change David Hayter, get rid of David Hayter, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Kiefer Sutherland will do a bad job. David Hayter is already an established screenwriter with amazing writing amazing screenplays for X-Men, X-Men 2, The Watchmen, basically doing the superhero movies before superhero movies were a big thing. So that in alone is a big thing for him. And that's his main job. Voice acting is kind of like his side job. So maybe he wants to put more effort into his screenwriting career, which is quite a possibility. Not really sure. He hasn't really come out and said anything, but he's famous. Like, the fans love him, and like, it's not a good idea for him if it was his choice to leave Metal Gear. If it was Kojima's choice, then you can always argue that, well, Kojima is the creator of Metal Gear. He is the developer at the end. He knows what's best for or he feels that this is what's best for his game, and he should be able to do so because it is his product. It's not necessarily our product. When we create a game, then we have the right to say who voices who and what. And knowing most crazy video game fans, we would probably have the most weirdest lineup ever. We would have like David Hayter, and like Nolan North, and then like the girl who played Ash on Pokemon, and like Naruto, and probably just the most iconic voices. We would just be crazy like that. So now we're in the freezer, cold storage here. There's some fires in the back. Hot, oh very hot. You're making it too hot. I'm going to cook in this heat. I'm going to melt. Did you light these fires? What were you thinking? People who start fires in this mansion had better be ready to pay the price. Now learn your lesson. So basically there's this guy who just loves the cold. He's like an Arctic explorer. So he decided to come spend his final days in the freezer of the mansion. And to get him, we gotta thaw him out of the fire, out of the ice, and thaw him with fire. Sorry. Ah! Really? Come on. Now even the named ghosts or the painting ghosts are getting a lot more difficult. See? It's just... But it's okay. We got him this time. Konami press release conference, they also talked about Castlevania 2, Lords of Shadows. That got me quite... I love the Luigi slide on the ice. That was interesting. I don't know. Nothing really that we didn't know. We've for those of you who haven't played Lords of Shadow, it's came out in 2007, so you can't yell at me for spoiling anything. Basically, it's a prequel, and you play as Dracula. You don't know that till the end of the game, though. It's quite the twist. Feels like almost M. Night Shyamalan created the game, but so you play as Dracula. The game ends, and you see Dracula in modern, like 2012. Just living, right? So the second game now takes place in modern day 2012. Dracula trying to like regain his powers and I guess stop Satan from coming to take over the world, because I guess Satan wants to kill Dracula or something. It's not really explained much in the trailer, but it's an interesting game. They've redone the fighting with more different types of enemies and weapons, and so like this weapon does this to this enemy, this weapon does that. So a little bit more thinking, a more like upgradable setup where you can use like experience from killing enemies to like upgrade certain weapons and stuff. So a lot more like a Devil May Cry kind of vibe, or a God of War kind of vibe. Overall, it just looks really cool, and I just honestly can't wait to play as Dracula and finally play like the history of the Castlevania series, see where Dracula came from, see what he did. So we're just making our way to the third floor right now. It's really annoying that we haven't gotten the key for this door yet, because it makes us go all the way around through the backyard every time. It's just, it's not fun. Pro Evolution Soccer looked pretty cool. They talked about the new graphics and how they're using like a modified Fox engine to do all the reactions to the players and the whole center of gravity on your body, and how the hits and the plays and the movements are going to be all hyper realistic and stuff like that. Looks really cool, honestly. Interesting in the way that technology, graphics, and like game engines are going. So I'm always interested in hearing stuff about that, but I will probably not pick up PES 2014. Like, I'm at this point right now where I kind of don't know what I want from games anymore. Like, I kind of want that sense of awe and wonder that I had when I was a kid, and it doesn't happen. Like, I play games and they're interesting and they're fun, but like I analyze them and I break them down and I listen to the story and the writing, and cinematics and stuff. But like when I was a kid, there were games that were horrible that I love. It is you, no? You interfere with my afterlife's work. So now we finally discover where all these minor enemies have been coming from. You filthy swine, you're blind to the life I give my creations. Then very well, I will show you the mastery of my art. I'm sorry, that was a bad accent, wasn't it? Oh god, that was horrible. So he's creating all these minor ghosts and enemies and bringing them to life with his dark magic. So this game, again, for a game that has very little story or writing to it, they tie up all the loose ends. They leave you without wanting or questioning anything. You know exactly why everything happened, what caused everything. You know, it's very. So right now we're just going through every type of enemy we've encountered so far, trying to basically take down his paintings. That way he has nothing, no defense left, so we can finally take him out. We're getting close to the end of the game now. Oh fuck! Alright, we got him. Shit! Yeah, like I was saying, I'm at a point where I don't know what I want from games anymore. I want something fun. I just want to recapture that, like, feeling of being a child again and just running home and finally getting a new game and just going crazy and everything was new and exciting, and now everything's just the same and bland. I guess it's the whole you're growing up and you realize that life sucks kind of thing. But yeah. I'm also, like, with the new console generation, this is like the least excited I've ever been. Like, whenever there was a new console, I would be going apeshit as a kid, and I would just be like, oh man, like, it would just be like, I need this, I need to know what's going on, I need to play. Now, it's I don't even know how I feel. It's just like, well, it's another game console, they're killing the consumer, they're doing all this stuff. Like, I don't know, I feel almost as if maybe I should go to PC gaming in a way. But I don't want to betray console gaming, because that's what I grew up with. Like, maybe it's a natural progression, I don't know. I feel though that, like, as a consumer, we're the ones who create. We have this power, right? So they need us more than we need them. But I don't know. Hopefully there will be some new games that give us a sense of wonderment like when we were young. Oh shit. What? Doesn't even give me a second to suck them up. There we go. My creations! But even if I disappear, my work will live on. That is right, n'est-ce pas? Art is eternal. Huh? You say that only one of my creations is left? But this cannot be, Zutalors. And he's freaking out now, and he's all like, no, all my paint is destroyed, and my life work, or my afterlife's work. He doesn't even fight back, really. He can't really, he doesn't really escape. He just drops, all ghosts drop those little mushrooms after a while. There we go. Dun 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 dun. So, we've got the last key in the mansion. We have cleared almost everything, and we're going down to the final basement. I think this is it, guys. see you on the next episode.